Hello and welcome to Songs Brew. I'm Zara.
I'm Julia, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about music taste as well, or
Yes.
being indecisive, basically.
Yes. The term PolyJAMorous is what we've used for this one. And
I like this term.
yeah, it's been gaining a lot of traction and I found it on TikTok. Although I am prone to making up like terms, this one I actually borrowed from TikTok and it's become like a really great way using the hashtag to find music that you're probably not going to listen to else. It's one of my favorite ones. And I think like I fall into that category very
Yeah.
heavily. That was really, really nice. But when I was doing a bit of research for this post, came up with like made me think, wait a minute, do we actually love all of that? Or are we actually just completely indecisive? So we say, oh yeah, I'll listen to anything. We don't really mean it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it's weird because I have mixed feelings here because I would like to consider myself being polyamorous, but I have this feeling that it might be being indecisive because
Oh,
my music playlist and basically my music taste is so various. Like I cannot decide what I want to listen at a specific moment. Sometimes it's just something that I'm just feeling in the mood to listen to, but sometimes it's just like playing all different genres and just like listening to music
mhm.
without like specific mood or genre. It's just something that comes up in a playlist and then I'm like, okay, I can listen to this with no skip and that's okay. Yeah, I think that you've seen my playlist, which is emotional roller coaster. So it's like all different genres. Like you can find rock there, you can find lo-fi, you can find R&B, pop, hip hop. It's all there. So yeah.
Yeah, mine's a mix. I think most people assume that I listen to like metal and rock, and that does make up a large chunk of what I do listen to. But where I grew up was like a mixed bag. So I think some of the music that I was listening to already in like secondary school, and this is way, way back, that was banger music really was a big thing. Dance hall music was a really big thing then as well. So, but that could be location based. So that makes up a large portion of my taste. And then from dancehall, you kind of go out and you find more like hip hop, reggae, and then you, at the minute, I'm very much enjoying. This is thanks to TikTok, and also Tidal gave me a really nice playlist. I'm a piano.
Okay.
And I don't know something about like it's fusion music and it's like jazz and that kind of thing. It's South African, if I remember correctly, and those playlists I love, but I don't know if it's because it sounds like something I used to listen to a long time ago, or it's because it's a fusion of different aspects of music that I enjoy, that I like it. I just like it. And then, so I put a couple of my playlists, I pulled them together and I was trying to write down some of the genres just to give like more of a, also for myself, I think, to work out, right, am I indecisive? Is it that I'll listen to anything and don't care about it? Or is there a trend in all of my playlists? And I think we've spoken about this before. Like, I have Spotify, I have Tidal, and I use YouTube, and they've all got different music on them. And I was looking for like a commonality between them. Are there actually genres that I listen to the most? And so I've written some of them down. So I'm going to go and share, not all of them because I think there's a lot. So, like, indie rock and rock, I think is a given. I think that's just, yeah, post punk, dream pop, shoegaze. And then it goes folk, alt pop, neo soul, jazz, and cinematic scores. Now, I really like listening to, and it was the Batman. Oh God, you know that there's the soundtracks to movies,
Yeah.
but not the music that goes into the charts. So it really is just like the cinematic scores for it. I enjoy them. So the Batman one, Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. So that's in there as well. Grime's in there, rap's in there. What else have I got there? Afrobeat, Mongolian throat singing. Oh my God. But it's so the noise that it makes. Like I'll put some links in because
Yeah,
or
you
I'll
need
add
to
it
because
to.
I want to hear some of
Yeah.
them. I'm like really interested, right?
I fell in love with that, and it was early last year. And so now that comes up on my TikTok a lot. There's a few artists that just, and it's so nice to listen to. It's like really deep and it like bounces around and it's such an interesting sound. That's in there. Afrobeats, some Latin, not always, and then a lot of country. And that's just a really small portion. But these make up my everyday listening,
Okay.
not just the random ones. And so I think I might give myself a pass on Indecisive because I've handpicked all of these for the playlists. So yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a really small portion. I might I might
And
at
it's
one
still a
point.
lot, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, it's exciting, I think, finding new stuff.
Okay.
And I think I have TikTok and social media in general to thank for the amount of stuff that I find now.
Yeah, I think we own a lot TikTok basically
Hmm.
for new music findings. But I do not love all of them. Sometimes it's just that it's stuck in my head. Just like this one verse or one specific beat from the like
Hmm.
15 seconds of the TikTok music video, and like the whole song is not that great.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is not something that I want to listen to, but basically it's stuck in my head because of seeing it a lot on TikTok. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, I can listen to just like this 15 seconds of the song and then
Do
skip
you-
it.
it's like a clickbait music.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes like there are so many videos of one song on TikTok that
Mhm.
when you listen to it on Spotify or somewhere else, you're just done with it. You don't want to listen to it anymore because you're like overwhelmed with that song.
Yeah, I do
So,
find that sometimes there's way too much. All my reposts on my on my personal account. Oh, we're on TikTok, by the way. You can find us. It's the Songs Brew. You can come up with. We've only got a couple of videos right now, but we mostly will be sharing bloopers or any really good recommendations. Brand new, so yeah. No followers, no two. Actually, we've got two.
oh, that's cute.
Nice. Yes. So yeah, all mine are reposts, all of its music, and I really appreciate that because I heard some people have just got really like trash TikTok like For You pages. Mine's all music. I love it.
Oh, I have different videos. Yeah, my TikTok is rather indecisive.
Yeah, mine's kind of thingy. So in the article, and you can find it at songsbrew.com, and you're looking for PolyJAMorous or Indecisive, we put in a little, not a questionnaire, but like things you can ask yourself to find out if you're polyjamorous or actually indecisive. So it's like if someone asks you what kind of music you're into, you're more likely to just panic because it's almost impossible to answer. If you only like one or two genres, you'll be able to say, oh, I like hip hop and I like this. But if you truly love all of these different genres, it's like the impossible question.
Yeah, kinda it is. But this is I think what I love about also polyamorous word, because this is like this playful idea
Yeah.
that you don't have to commit to one genre as well. You can commit to like a lot of them, and it's like being in a musical relationship with
Yeah.
many genres that you actually love, sometimes
Mhm.
all at once. And yeah, I do like that.
I think it is one of my favorite things. And I know that sometimes I can be really dismissive about streaming platforms and how they have changed how we listen to music. But the flip side, and we always try to talk about the positive side of them as well, because almost everybody uses one, has one, a subscription or free or whatever, is that they allow you to explore. I mean, there's 100 million songs on each one of them or something now.
Yeah.
You can explore every single genre you can possibly think of, not just the big overall, but the subs and the micros. And you can even find there's lots of bands that will post their music on Spotify and you're never going to hear it anywhere else. And if you put the work in, which I think our readers do, I have the sense that they like a lot of different genres. That is the value. How much it costs versus how much you can find
Yeah,
is insane. The
it
difference
is.
is wild. So yeah,
It is.
that's a
I also think that it's really difficult to actually commit to one genre. I mean, I know there are people who does it,
yes.
who do it basically, who do it. But I think it's a little bit, maybe not lazy, but it might get boring at some point.
Yeah. No, I agree.
There are like so many great songs out there that you can listen to, and perhaps you can find something that you like or you don't even know you like, and then
Yeah.
it just comes up. So I think it's all about exploring the possibilities of music that we have right now. And I know that there are a lot of songs that sound similar, or you just not vibing anymore to this kind of genre because it sounds literally the same. Every song is like the same. But
Yes,
still,
God.
at some point, there are like huge amount of hidden gems that you can find out there. Maybe
Hmm.
not the newest ones, but oldest ones, basically.
I
And
think
they
that's a
like
really good point.
they can also define your music taste, or you can explore that you have also different music tastes that than you thought you had. So
Yeah.
this is what I love about streaming services, because every time you can find something new.
Yes, that's it. It just takes a little bit of time as well. This,
Obviously.
yeah, it's if you I think you have to commit a little bit. So if we rely on just the algorithms to give us new stuff that we haven't heard before, or put us in the way of a new genre and find it, that's probably not going to happen, because the algorithms are designed to just give us what we already like.
Yeah, so
It
you just
keeps us
need
on
to
the, yeah.
like spend a little bit more time and explore something that just might feel a little bit interesting to you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
this is how I try to find new music also. Like not to commit to specific genre, just explore different ones and see what beats feels the most accurate for me right now at the moment, or to my mood, and then I'm just adding them to my playlist, and that's why my playlist is total chaos.
Yes, mine is not better. One of my favorite things to do, if you're looking for, if you're trying to be challenged, then a good place to go is SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And it's because SoundCloud can be absolutely unruly with what's posted on there. People will post odd mixes that they've made in their basement, and you're like, what on earth is this? But once you're there and you start exploring, there's all of these artists that are not on Spotify, they're not anywhere else, they are only there, and that can put you in a exploratory headspace where you're like, okay, I really like how they made this sound. I wonder if there's any artists that I can find on other platforms that sound like that. And you can use, I've mentioned a bunch of tools before, Choose It, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. And you can type in an artist and then they'll find you similar kind of stuff, and the similar stuff, do it again and again and again, and what you'll find is you move outside of the genre into something different while still sticking with whatever musical style or instruments or whatever it is about the first one that you liked. You can probably find it by just going off down the rabbit hole, and like it takes some time, but it works. Or
And it's
just go
worth
to
it.
the, yeah, just do that hashtag PolyJAMorous. There is a few accounts, and I wish I'd written them down. I haven't, but I'll add them here. Yes, I will in the edit. And they post one every single day. One of them's on like 200 and something, one of them's on like 500 and something, and they post a song that is definitely not mainstream every single day. And you can add it to your Spotify playlist or your Apple Music or your SoundCloud now with the button down in the corner. And that is an excellent, excellent way to find stuff that, if you're lazy, obviously, like some people, me sometimes, you can easily find stuff way outside of what your usual listening is. Yeah, TikTok again. I love it.
Yeah, TikTok is like good source for everything nowadays, I think.
Hmm.
Like you can find not only music, but I sometimes do find some inspirations for the content basically on TikTok, and yeah, and also some recipes for food or something like that. I think it's, or some hacks to do, like 5 minutes hacks. Not
Oh,
all
the
of them
5 minutes.
works,
Do they
but
do they
yeah, some of them are like really really interesting, and yeah, I found some of them to be actually worth it.
Yeah, I love that. It's so handy. It's changed how we do so much stuff. But yeah, for me, definitely has made one of the biggest impacts on finding music. And we just published one called Rec Master, which is about the people who are constantly recommending music and how they kind of fall into the same category a little bit as the Polyjam people. And I think the overlap is perhaps more than I originally realized, because I think the people who, again, on TikTok, who are sharing the music every day, they also fall into the rec master because they are doing a recommendation every single day. And I thought to myself, wait a minute,
Yeah,
they're
it's
like the
like,
same person.
yeah, it's all like coming up together and it's like
Yes,
connected somehow to each other.
it
Yes.
was.
So my question to you right now is, if someone looked at your recently played queue, just recently played queue, what would they
Yes.
learn about you? Like, would it make sense, or would it be beautifully chaotic?
I can give you the last, let me just, oh, you know what? I'll check it right now, exactly what I've just been listening to. Right. So I have recently added to my tracks on Tidal Steal My Sunshine by Len, Song 3, Baby Metal. Dogtooth, Tyler the Creator, which I'm obsessed with. Cellophane, FKA Twigs, The Afterman, Coheed and Cambria, Sorrow from the National, and I've got two more. So If I Had a Heart, Fever Ray. Did you ever watch Vikings on
No,
Netflix? Okay, so that's
no.
actually the opening song from that. And then I have Everything and Nothing by the Boom Circuits. So I think they'd be like, yeah, she listens to a bunch of different stuff because some of that's like emo indie stuff. Then there's like Baby Metal and Slaughter to Prevail. Then Tyler the Creator's more like the hip hop kind of genre. FKA Twigs done like a bit of a mix really. So yeah, a mix. They've I don't know
Totally,
what they'd learn.
totally mixed.
Yeah, nothing good maybe is what they've
You
learned
just have to
from that.
share it, and then we can just like let you listen guys to it, so you can decide
Oh
what
yeah, for sure.
fits her actually attitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll add these ones to, so we have a couple of playlists on the Songs Brew thing. What I'll do is I'll add a couple of these songs to Zara's I Listen to Everything mix. It needs updating anyway, so I'll go ahead and do that as well and I'll add that in. But yes, I don't know what they'd learn. So I also have a question, and
Okay.
it was one of the things we kind of mentioned in the PolyJAMorous one. It's you fall in love with the single sounds that are tucked between the layers of the music. So it might be a perfectly timed triangle or a specific long bass note or the way an artist pronounces something. It doesn't really matter what genre it is, but it's all about the sound. Do you find when you listen to something new that you don't care what category it falls into? It's more about how it sounds and maybe how it sits with you, like resonates a bit with you.
Yeah, definitely. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I don't, even most of the time, I don't care what genre it is. If it sticks with me, or if I like the beats, the chorus, or even the lyrics, because I
Mhm.
do find lyrics really interesting to me, then it can even be metal or, yeah, or rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's just like sticks of my with my mood or just my personal reaction to the beats, if I found it interesting, then it doesn't matter what genre it is, and you can see it in my playlist as well.
See?
It's all about the beats, the sound, the lyrics, sometimes even more about the beats and instrumental things than lyrics. Yeah, if it's just the sound that resonates with me and speaks to me in some way, then I'm gonna save it, no matter what genre it is. Yeah.
I think that that's not indecisive. I think if it was indecisive, it wouldn't like you wouldn't add it to your playlist. It would just be like whatever, but it's on in the background. I think that means that you're definitely more in the polyamorous kind of camp. I for
Yeah,
sure do, because
I might
if
be.
I think so, because if anyway what you're listening to makes an impact on you, and then you go, I like this, and then maybe you find more artists that sound the same, or maybe you don't, but you add it to your playlists and you listen to it, and it's maybe outside of your whatever you're regularly playing, and you fall in love with it a little bit. I don't think that's indecisive. I think that's like connecting with what you're listening to, regardless of what genre it falls into.
Yeah, I think that's kind of magic of the music taste and polygenres in general, because it's not about a band, or it's not about a person. It's
Mhm.
just about living and shifting record of your ears, basically,
Yes.
and your heart, and this is what
Yeah.
you are reaching for.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I like that. I think most people who would say that they're polyamorous or even indecisive, actually, any of those kind of terms would have, I know I do, maybe you do, have a couple of artists that might not necessarily be in the same genre, but are like in heavy rotation. So you might have like an indie person here and a folk person here and a country, but there you're like heavy rotation, and that's what you mostly listen to, the base of your music, and then the rest of your playlist is like expanding out of that.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think that um I think this is also a musical honesty, like a refusal
Yeah.
to shrink yourself into one mood, one label, or one identity. You have like this spread overview of
Mhm.
music.
Yeah, and I think the more music that you listen to that's outside of your heavy rotation playlist, or outside of the genre that you listen to most, I think the more that you listen to, the more that you want to listen to, and you expand your kind of own listening experience. and then it leads you to experience music in a different way. So we mention a few times across most of our articles, there's a massive difference between hearing something and actually listening. So when you mentioned that lyrics kind of settle with you a little bit, that's because you're really tuning in and listening to what you're hearing. And the thing I think one of the differentiators between Indecisive and PolyJAMorous is if you're indecisive, I think you'll listen to it, you'll hear it, but you won't listen to it. It will just go straight over your head.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah, and then if you are more on the PolyJAM side, you'll listen to it and you'll listen for the bits that we were just talking about, in your case, the instrumentals in the background, the lyrics, all that kind of stuff, and you'll really take it on board. It's a different experience. I think one is more active. So I think PolyJAMorous is looking for new music, listening to it, hearing it,
Yeah, it's
both.
like constantly learning something new about music and your taste.
I think
And your
so.
personality at some point with that as well. And maybe not who you are in general, but who you are right now.
Yeah, I know. I massively agree. I think as we experience different things in life, or as we like get older and that kind of stuff, and a bunch of different things happen, and different times in your life you'll be listening to a certain song and
Yeah,
it makes you feel a
definitely.
certain kind of way. I think we carry all of that stuff with us, so we get to the point that uh, it's more expansive. And I think that's one of the nicest things about listening to multiple genres, because something that you're looking for, you maybe won't find in a pop song.
Yeah,
Right? If you're in a specific mood,
totally.
yeah, you're really sad. Sure, there's going to be a sad pop song out there, but maybe it's listening to a jazz piece and you don't want lyrics, you don't want singing. It's a specific note that you didn't know you wanted to hear until you find it and you're like, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah,
And I think maybe that's a bit of the difference as well.
I agree. And I just like have this one also maybe recommendation how to find new music and how sometimes I
Yes.
do it, because I love reading books, that's for sure. And for some of them, there are like dedicated playlists, because in some of them, there are just like songs mentioned based on the history and what's going on in a specific like chapter of the book. And then sometimes there are like dedicated playlists with the songs that are mentioned in the book. And this is also the way I find new music. And I know that I was reading to this one book. It was a couple of years ago. It was something romantic, something. Not sure what was the title, because I read so many books that I cannot remember all of them. But I remember that the author of the book recommended to make a playlist of the songs that are mentioned in the book, and she just wrote down the songs basically on the first page of the book. And yeah, I created my playlist for it, and when I was reading like this book, I was just like playing this playlist constantly, and it got so better when reading it, because you could actually feel what was the author feeling while writing it.
That is amazing. And we haven't mentioned that way of looking for new
Yeah,
music anywhere.
because I totally
That's
forgot it, but
amazing.
over the weekend I started reading new book, and like in the first chapter there was like mentioned that someone went into the car and just played the radio with their favorite song, and it was just like written down. And I was like, oh my god, that is like a great way to find new music, because like most of the songs I didn't know.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and some of them are still in my playlist.
I love that. If you can find it, we'll have to
I
share that
think I,
one.
I can find it because it's somewhere in my Spotify account deep down. But
Yes.
yeah, I have
Oh
like this
yeah.
one playlist with the songs, and sometimes I was just playing them on YouTube before, because I used to don't have Spotify, and then I was like listening to a lot of songs on YouTube, and then when I like finished listening to a song mentioned in a book, there were like other recommendations from YouTube directly, so I was like listening to them, and I had this one song that was mentioned in the book. And I think I added it to the playlist of my emotional roller coaster. Yeah, I think
That's
it's
so
there.
cool.
And I think it's called I Can Make You Love Me or something like that. And it's like really slow, really sad to be honest. But when I was like reading to this one book, which was like a drama and like sad love story, it was like a perfect.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like
Now,
totally different mood, and you can like feel the song in a different way than you usually do.
yeah, that turns it into like a whole experience because you'll be reading and you're completely like in that whole world. That is so
Yeah.
good.
And I think that what's the most interesting is that you don't have to like these songs. Like
Mm.
most of them you probably won't like because they're like dedicated to a specific character in a book, which you don't
Mm.
have to like, obviously. But then when you listen to them and reading to the book, you have like this totally different version of the song. Like it sounds totally different because it connects with the book and the story. So yeah,
That's
like
so
you hear it
nice.
totally differently than when you would like listen to it without like any context.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
that's
think
really
that is
nice.
also interesting. Maybe it's just me, but
No, I actually think that's a
that's
fantastic
interesting to
thing.
me.
Yeah, that's very cool. Oh my God. We're at our 30 minutes already. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was fast and furious.
Yeah,
Right.
that,
So
that was.
I firmly fall in the polyamorous camp. Like, I will sign off. I will get the stamp and give it to myself because that's how much I am very, very sure. Very, very sure. I'm not indecisive because I very much know what I like. I skip things that I don't, even though I'm quite anti-skip and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I think that's where I think that's where you fall as well, to be
Yeah, I
honest. I
think
think you
I'm
fall
more
into that camp.
polyamorous than
Yeah,
indecisive. I mean,
I
I
think
might
so.
skip metal
Yeah.
or hard rock, but still, if there is like song that like sticks with me and resonates with my mood, then I'm gonna listen to it.
Yes. Okay. Right. So we'll include a couple of playlists. Again, you can find us on Instagram at the Songs Brew. You can find us on TikTok now at the Songs Brew. And next week and the week after, we've got some really interesting articles. Weird music is coming up.
Oh, this
That's
is my
one.
favorite one, I think.
I'm really, really looking forward to that one. And we spent a lot of time finding odd tracks for you guys to listen to. And after that is another one, and I'm not going to give too much away, but it's called We Used to Be Pirates. So, yes, look out for those as well. I've been Zara.
I've been Julia, and it
Thank you for
was,
joining us.
yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.